Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I hope everybody is doing well. Well, what a boring weekend it was for crypto. But this morning, it's not so boring. We wake up and it's just total red. Altcoins are absolutely capitulating down. And there's only anarchy on X. The bear market is in, apparently. That's what some people are saying on X. Take all your money out now. Sell up, sell up, sell up. That's what people are saying. But what is happening in the markets? Why are we getting this pullback? I'll get into that in just a little while. But like I said, we can look at the altcoins, and it's just like 5, 10, 15% down at the moment. But in this video, I will be talking about Bitcoin, the US markets, and also I'll be talking about CRO and why this is all happening, because at the moment it's a lot of fear in the market at the moment, and a lot of people are having doubts now. Are we going to get an alt season? But we can have a look on the hourly. The hourly on the markets at the moment has had a little bit of a move back up towards the upside, but after this big drop we've had, it's nothing really significant that's happening at the moment. But what we're starting to see at the moment, we're seeing some of the tech stocks like NVIDIA is pre-market, is taking pre-market auction, is taking a bit of a nosedive to around about that $140, $139 mark at the moment. So we can see we're dropping right down to 133, and it's continually dropping at the moment. And before I get into Bitcoin, why is this all happening at the moment? So we can have a look at the NASDAQ. So we've had news come out that we've got this app that's coming out, which is an AI app that's coming out in China. It's relatively new, actually, but it really is popular in China. It's called DeepSeek AI. It shakes up the stock market as traders question US tech valuation at the moment. So we're starting to see a lot of the NASDAQ 100 futures tech is starting to pull back. It's come down now around about 3% at the moment. And this AI is equivalent to like ChatGPT, but apparently it's a lot more sophisticated than that. And obviously this is now starting to make a lot of the markets in the US tech market starting to think, well, actually, are these valuations on the current market at the moment, should they be here? Is it time that we pull back? Are they too overvalued at the moment? So I wouldn't say it's a crash. I would say we're probably going to have a pullback. So it's going to be very interesting what actually happens when the New York stock market opens today. So it's going to be all eyes on that as well. So we know the Chinese artificial intelligence startup DeepSeek rocket global technology stops on Monday, raising questions over Americans' technological dominance. So basically it says here, this is on Bloomberg, by the way, the buzz grew over the weekend about DeepSeek's latest AI model. Now, this has been out quite a while. It's been out for about, I think, just over a year. So this is a relatively new tech that's come out in China. So it's very new indeed. So, but basically, with the buzz happening with the tech AI model, it's being cost effective while running less advanced chips. Now, obviously, we know that like with NVIDIA at the moment, which we can see here, is actually been really pumping about. We get this Blackwell coming out, but obviously, what's happened now is now this has come out. It's sort of starting to question now, really, that in China they're coming out with stronger AI, more powerful AI, but at a cheaper cost. So obviously, this is going to have a knock-on effect on the tech industry in America. Are they now overvalued? And hence why we're starting to get this pullback, and it will keep dropping down actually on pre-market down to 131 on NVIDIA at the moment. So all eyes on the moment. So it says here NASDAQ 100 futures tumble as much as 3.2%, while contracts on S&P 500 fell 1.9% at 3:32 a.m. New York times. And Europe stock lead market losses as well. So it's obviously having a knock-on effect on the crypto market as well. So obviously, like I said, all eyes today will be on the US stock markets, because obviously there's a chance that we could even drop down even further today. So, but also what we've also got to be bearing in mind is we've got the FOMC coming out as well in the US. So obviously it says here, it is widely expected the Federal Reserve will keep and maintain interest rates unchanged this Wednesday while they wait for more information showing that inflation is decreasing. So at the World Economic Forum, we know Davos, Switzerland, Trump said he would insist on immediate cuts to interest global. So what we're seeing on the CME graphs, CME on the tool here, it's saying it's rate cuts of 25 basis points at around about 99.5%. So we're starting to get the Donald Trump effect starting to get into Jerome Powell and say, look, you need to start cutting rates now. I want to stay. But you've got to bear in mind the FOMC, the Federal Reserve, is actually a separate entity. So will Jerome Powell yield to what Donald Trump is saying? So that's all eyes again on Wednesday is what's going to be happening, because we can see here we've got 2 days, 9 hours and 40 minutes till we get that decision, and then we'll get Jerome Powell speaking. Is he going to be dovish? Is he going to be hawkish? Obviously, that is going to have a profound effect on the stock markets in the US and crypto as well. So again, this is all eyes. So a very, very busy week internally today, this week, especially this morning and later on today. So how is Bitcoin doing at the moment? So we can have a look at Bitcoin at the moment. We've had that pullback. We went all the way up to that higher high there, which was around about that $110,000. And then we've dropped down to this higher low at the moment. And now we're coming down to a lower high. And now we're coming down to a higher low. So where these two blue lines are, we're in this range at the moment. So, and we're coming up to this value node here, which is basically the VRVP. We're coming up to test this area here. Now lose that. Now, there's a possibility that we could start dropping down even further, down to that 90, down to that $88,000 mark. So we just got to be prepared for that as well. But if, like I said, that's only if we lose that. We could come down and test this area of wick around here. Now, obviously, if that happens, we've got to bear in mind that's going to have a profound attack on the altcoins as well. So what I'm also watching for is here. If I put the line here straight through this area around about here. Now, what we could do is, if I get the pen out, actually, get the pen out here, we'll find out where that pen is, around about, here we go. So we see the trend line that we're coming here. So we've got the neckline, which is where that lower high is right now. But what we could do is we could come back down here, and which is basically called a bump and run. So we could come down here, test this, bump it, and then come back down, retest it, and make a way back up. It's called basically a bump and a run. So, but what we can see here is on the oscillator is that we're starting to get money flow, which is actually starting to come down towards the downside. Now, obviously, the market might be anticipating what's going to happen with the stock markets this morning on the opening. Are we going to get more of a pullback down towards the downside? So there's always a risk that we could come back down to this line, trend line here of 97,000, lose that. We could, like I said, we could come down to that $88,000 mark. So we've just got to be prepared for the crypto market in general. But like I said, all eyes are on the FOMC meeting. So at the moment, we're in this range at the moment. And obviously, there's a lot of profit taking as well. People are taking profits on that. But also, what we can have a look on the Bitcoin liquidations at the moment. So we've got more shorts at the moment at 52.86%. compared to the longs at the moment, which is sitting at 47% at the moment. So what we have had is a lot of people were sort of like creating area buy orders around this kind of area here. Now, if I drop down actually to the 4 hours, which is going to give us a better idea of what I'm going to go on about here, that what's happening here, move that back up, that a lot of people had down here had gone and put like in areas of $99 to $100,000, put in like areas of buy orders. Then obviously what's happened is they've got liquidated because we've wicked straight down, and we've come back up a little bit, but we wicked straight down to that $97,000. So like I said, there's a lot of buy orders. As you can see all the wicks here, a lot of buy orders were around this area, and obviously now they've been taken out as well. So obviously now the question is, will we be coming back down here? Because there'll be areas around here where we'll also have people with buy orders as well. We will wick straight through that one. So obviously, patience at the moment is a virtue, waiting for to see what happens with the US market. But what I want to point it out here as well, there's a lot of fear in the market. We can have a look at what Quinton says in here, that this is where we've topped out generally, and look where we are right now. And that was from Quinton Q4 EV. The cycle top is definitely not in, but we're getting these pullbacks. So you've just got to bear in mind, and I've said this in previous videos, we've had 30%, 40% pullbacks in a lot of previous bull markets. So could this be one of them at the moment? So we just got to bear that one in mind, and also going to get absolutely levered. So let's have a look at CRO, see how that's doing at the moment. So looking at CRO, because I've mentioned this before, that we've got like the roadmap for 2025 that's come out, and also we've got the roadmap for also the Cronos chain as well. So obviously there's a lot of like bearishness tone at the moment regarding the CRO token, because it hasn't really been performing, and I've mentioned this in the other videos, it really hasn't been performing to what everybody wants to see compared to what what crypto.com is doing, which is what crypto.com are doing is super bullish with the roadmap of 2025 going into the United States with ETFs and such like coming out. But the price of CRO really hasn't reflected that. And we've seen that a lot with the altcoins in general, like with like ADA as well. That's been sort of been underperforming as well. It's been dropping down. But, we've got to zoom out here, and we've had that big move up from early of November, that we had that big impulsive move wave up because we had that roadmap come out. We hit 0.22, and we've just basically just been a downward trend because we can see the signal overlay at the moment. This red line that's coming down here, it's just been pushing us down to the downside, and money flow has been coming out. But we are getting a bit of a curvature here, so hopefully we might get a bit of a recovery later on. But obviously we're sort of subject to what Bitcoin does and Bitcoin dominance, because like I said, with Bitcoin dominance, we're sort of like sitting at 59.36 at the moment. So, but what's been happening, we've on this falling wedge, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs at the moment. So actually what we're coming down to is we're coming down towards the end of this wedge now. So it's a sort of a decision that's got to be made. So if obviously Bitcoin really drops down, we could easily come back down to this area value node here, which would take us around about to that kind of that 0.10 at the moment. So there's always risks that, but I've also said there's risks coming down to also that 0.12 and 0.11. So obviously, if we lose this area support around here, then we are coming down here. So that is something you just got to be prepared for. It's like I said, I know people say, oh, yeah, I'm super bullish, but short term, like I said, I'm sort of like, well, at the moment, it's just been downwards and downwards. But for long zooming out, I am super bullish on what Crypto.com are doing and also CRO token. But at the moment, it's like I said, it's just been underperforming totally. So, at the moment, what we've got to do is we've got to get the bulls to come out and start pushing that price up, because it's frustrating, I know, for a lot of CroFam holders out there when you've seen BNB making moves and BitGet token making moves towards the upside with the burns. And I know some people don't like burns, but it's just part of the parcel, because people say, yes, we need to get the Cronos chain sort of moving, getting people on board in. But I personally think we need to get burns, because if we get a burn, then yes, it's going to give us short-term price action, just like BitGet did, of 400%. We get CRO token rocketing towards the upside, doing a 400%, 500% more. That's going to get a lot of attention in the crypto market. Wow, look at CRO's doing. Look what CRO's doing. And people will start to look at CRO then. Well, what's going on? What's going on? And we'll start looking at what Crypto.com are doing, the Cronos chain, because we know a lot of people are looking at Crypto.com, but they're not looking at the Cronos chain. That's the thing. And we need to get people into the Cronos ecosystem. And that's going to help us long-term prosperity to move up. So obviously, I think a burn will do Cronos chain the world of good, because it will put a spotlight onto it, which will maybe bring people into it. So I know a lot of people don't like burns, but I think it's a necessity that we to have, and to get the price of CRO moving, and it gets the sentiment moving as well. It gets more positivity instead of negativity, and people coming out and say, well, CRO is just a dead, it's not doing anything, underperforming, I'm selling up, and you get people selling. But also, do they need to sort out with the rewards as well? Because obviously, it's the rewards, where we get CRO tokens. I might be wrong on this, but people might let me know in the comments what you think. But are the rewards keeping that pressure down as well? And maybe we need to, Crypto.com and the Cronos chain need to look at something else, like USDT, get you paid in USDT Tether, for an example, or USDC, or whatever. So anyway, but at the moment, we're on this downward trend at the moment. We can see here, it's pushing us down. Hopefully, we're coming towards the end of the falling wedge, in my opinion. So this is a decision making. Do we recover from this to make ourselves way up, or do we drop down to the downside? But overall, at the moment, there's a lot of fear in the market. All eyes are on what's happening today at the US market open with the tech stocks, and also watching what happens with Jerome Powell as well. But at the end of the day, you've got to look at this. It depends on what's in your pocket. Is this a DCing opportunity, or is this actually, just sit on your hands and wait? But hopefully CRO will do something and make its way up, because I get the frustration out there. I know a lot of people have said in the comments that are angry and disappointed, but we've just got to see what happens. And is this an opportunity, or is this just sitting on your hands at the moment? So let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. But that's what I think is going to happen at the moment. All eyes are on today, and also on Wednesday as well. So smash that like button, give us a subscribe, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Take care.